You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the January 19th, 2026 regular council meeting for the town of St. Andrews. I'm Florence Mitchell. Today's meeting begins with a presentation by Emma Keach of the Charlotte County Seniors Resource Center and a presentation by Vince Ippolito proposing a new fitness center. Under Finance and Administration, Council will move to grant leave for the first reading of Municipal Plan Bylaw MP 25-01 and to schedule a public hearing of objections for February 16th at 6 p.m. Council will also move to grant leave for the first reading of Bylaw 23-06-A, an amendment to the procedural bylaw. Additionally, Council will move to approve the adoption of Communications Policy P26-01 and Advisory Committees Policy P17-01. Following that, Council will move that the Chief Administrative Officer be authorized to recruit for full-time treasurer and janitor positions. Finally, under Economic Development, Business and Culture, Council will discuss amendments to the Tourism Accommodation Levy. Now let's join Council at the W.C. O'Neill Arena Complex Council Chambers in St. Andrews.
Okay, let's call the meeting of Monday, January the 19th, 2026, the regular council meeting of the town of St. Andrews at 6:30 p.m. at the W.C. O'Neill Arena Complex in the council chambers. All are present, with Mark Blanchard being online. So all the members are present. We'd like to recognize that we are on the unceded traditional territory of the Passamaquoddy, or the Pescatomakati people. And so welcome everyone. The approval of the agenda, I will need a mover and a seconder for the agenda. Mover, Councillor Heenan. Seconder, Deputy Mayor Neal. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Carried. All right. Disclosure of a conflict of interest from anyone?
Your Worship.
Yes?
Sorry, just before you took the vote, you should have had a quick question about if anyone wanted to make an amendment to that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does anybody like to would anyone like to amend the minutes or the agenda, approval of the agenda? Any amendments? Not seeing any. So it was motioned by Heenan and Deputy Mayor Neal, and everyone carried it. So, disclosure of a conflict of interest. Anyone? Don't see anyone. So, presentations. We have two presentations this evening. The first one is from Emma Keach, Charlotte County Seniors Resource Center. So, Emma, we're going to give you up the floor. You have to go to the microphone, state your name, and then you may begin your presentation. Thank you. And thanks for coming out tonight.
Good evening. My name is Emma Keach. I'm the Resource Manager at Charlotte County Seniors Resource Center. And I'm here to give you a presentation. It's been 2 years since I've been here, so I'm going to update you and show you how much we've achieved and where we are today. You can go to the next slide, please. Okay. Sure. So I just feel it's important to go back to the timeline. Just as a reminder, from July 2022 to March 2023, a Healthy Seniors pilot project was initiated by Passamaquoddy Lodge in St. Andrews. The lodge worked with Silver Marks consulting firm and St. Thomas University and the community of St. Andrews to answer the question, how does the community bring to realization an aging in place strategy? From community feedback, a resource center was brought forward along with other initiatives. On November 1st, 2023, the Resource Centre officially began its operations under Passamaquoddy Lodge as part of the Nursing Home Without Wall program, funded through social development. A soft opening was held on December 7th, 2023 at the Wellness Centre location. And in March 2024, an application was submitted to social development for a budget amendment to support the expansion of services to 2 satellite offices for Gramanan and Campobello. The Resource Centre celebrated its grand opening on May 13th, 2024. That same month, a Campobello community coordinator was onboarded, followed by the Gramanan community coordinator on July 3rd, marking a significant expansion of services across Charlotte County. Next slide, please. In August 2024, the Resource Centre onboarded an administrative assistant. This was followed by our Seniors Expo in St. Andrews in September 2024, which was supported community outreach and engagement. In April 2025, a 5-year contract was signed with the Department of Social Development. Service expansion continued in July 2025 with an onboarding of an Eastern Charlotte community coordinator. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary on November 1st, 2025, and now we are looking forward to our 3rd year of operations and continuing to serve our communities. So people are finding us in all different ways. People can self-refer to us, family and friends, extramural referrals, social development referrals, 211. It's expanding how people are finding us. Over the past 2 years, our team has grown from 2 to 6 staff members, our main office being located in St. Andrews and the satellite offices in Gramanan, Campobello, Eastern Charlotte, St. Stephen, and a dedicated administrative assistant. The coordinators will visit individuals in their homes to eliminate transportation, financial, and physical barriers. It is important to also recognize that this growth and success has not been possible without the countless hours contributed by the staff at Passamaquoddy Lodge, who have played a vital role in launching and supporting our resource center, especially Yolande J., our administrator at Passamaquoddy Lodge, Kristen Stevens, our accountant at Passamaquoddy Lodge. And I would also like to take and recognize the amazing team that I have behind me, who continues to support clients and build strong relationships rooted in trust and strengthen the ties to the community. We are supported by an advisory committee who provides governance, oversight, and strategic guidance for the Nursing Home Without Wall program. They ensure alignment with the program mandate, contractual obligations, and approved budgets. It monitors outcomes, supports effective service delivery, reports to the board of directors at Passamaquoddy Lodge, and advocates for program sustainability and supports our staff capacity. We're very grateful to have them. This is a current breakdown of clients per area. When I submitted this PowerPoint, we were at 482. Today, we stand at 488 registered clients across Charlotte County and the Fundy Isles. Some of the financial benefits that we've helped clients apply for have been low-income seniors benefit, workers benefit, property tax allowance, backdating of New Brunswick drug plans, a direct-to-tenant benefit, backdating of GIS, minor home repair programs, fuel benefits, as well as loaning equipment out as well. These are the services that have been accessed by clients, particularly in St. Andrews. And to add to this, we've also assisted clients apply for the long-term care program, which is to bring in-home services to their home to help them age in place. To date, we have helped and assisted clients in applying for $1,115,198.98 over the last 2 years. One of our biggest hits has been the Seniors Expo. We had heard from the community the requirement for accessible information in one space, so we created a Seniors Expo. The first year we had 28 vendors and 135 visitors. And in 2025, we had 41 vendors and 286 attendees. We're working towards another one for 2026 in collaboration with other service providers. I just wish to highlight a couple of programs that we've been able to roll out here in St. Andrews. As the Resource Centre, we have learnt to create and leverage resources and opportunities in each community. For the second year, Charlotte County Seniors Resource Centre has partnered with the MBCC Industrial Electrical Program in students and instructor Aaron Collier to assist seniors within St. Andrews town limits with outdoor Christmas installation. The students, under the supervision of the instructors, will hand out Christmas lights and take them down after Christmas holiday. This spreads joy and cheer throughout the neighborhood. The first year that we did this, we realized quickly that seniors did not have Christmas lights as they had no longer needed them, and we were generously gifted with Christmas lights from Lutz Parish Garage, who we will be able to use in the future for years to come and continue spreading the joy. We've also worked on connecting seniors with people in the community who are willing to shovel steps and paths. We are a connector piece only. Expectation and pay are discussed between the client and the snow angel, but this was a community need that was quickly realized. This program has been very successful, and this year we extended the connecting service to St. Stephen and hope to continue to extend it. One of our important pieces is we continue to offer educational sessions on a wide range of topics, responding directly to community needs. We've partnered with J. Donovan Law Group, presenting on power of attorneys, committeeships, and legal protections, Canadian Mental Health, Service Canada, Parkinson's information sessions. We are community-driven, and we did hear from clients that there was a need for computer and digital skills support. We responded by establishing sessions in collaboration with the MB Libraries. Keith McKinnon comes from St. John to support and fulfill this need. Our most recent session was held in September. We partnered with Paul Logan from Keller Williams Capital Realty to offer sessions on downsizing your home. This was a huge success and supports our community and with important information. We are looking forward to offering more sessions in the spring, and we are currently working on offering information sessions in collaboration with the Public Legal Education and Information Service of New Brunswick for early spring. One of the hardest pieces to navigate has been the home repair program for seniors. We've assisted 18 clients in applying for home repair programs through the home repair program and minor home repair program. There are several different them in several different stages, but here are some examples of completed ones that we've helped with. Several steps, a roof, and plumbing. One client in St. Andrews we assisted with navigating the minor home repair program resulted in the installation of a new electrical plug and additional lighting in their home at no cost to them. This program has grown beyond simply assisting with home repairs. It helps clients stay in their home safely, and in many cases ensures that other service providers can continue offering essential support, strengthening both independence and community connections. We do have a monthly newsletter that is distributed to our registered clients. The newsletter contains an up-to-date information on community events and available benefits. The newsletter is kindly created by our advisory committee member, Janet Cranford, and has been a huge success. I would like to thank you for her creativity and time in creating it. The newsletter is shared both digitally and by mail to ensure accessibility for all clients. As our client base continues to grow, we will be seeking future sponsorship from local businesses and community partners to ensure this remains a sustainable and valuable resource to those we serve. With a growing list of nearly 500 clients across Charlotte County, we regularly receive feedback on how much the clients value and look forward to receiving this. One of our biggest wins has been serving as a trusted landing pad and listening ear for individuals seeking information and support. When we are unable to assist directly, we ensure people are guided in the right direction. We deliver information in ways that are accessible to the community, whether it be written form, digitally, or through other formats, so no one is left behind. A core priority of becoming a nursing home without walls site was gaining a deep understanding of the population we serve. As a result of this work, we have been recognized as a strong example for future rural and remote sites, including being invited to present our approach to rural living at the Rural Ottawa Health Society. And there's several wins and futures. We've just received a $1,000 Distinct Community Fund recipient from the MB Medical Society. I hold a seat on the Community Development Committee for Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission. And I've just received confirmation I'll be a pod coach for other nursing home without wall sites across the province and Canada. whilst I've got you all here, I am very politely asking if council would consider the resource centre to have one dedicated client parking space through the week. So I'm just going to leave that there. The thank yous. I would like to take this opportunity to thank CHCO-TV team, who have constantly promoted us and been to any event we have asked them to help us promote. We are truly grateful for their support, and they have kindly even helped us when we've had tech issues in a pinch. So we're very thankful to you. I would like to thank Terry Acton and the Public Works crew, who have been amazing with the work that was done at the new office, and for always just being so wonderful with us. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you, the Town of St. Andrews, for the support for Charlotte County Seniors Resource Centre. We are very grateful for our new location, and we recognize the support from the council and town. We would especially like to recognize Councillor Harland, who has been a champion for our nursing home without wall site and has early on saw the value of having the centre in the town. And I would like to end on this slide to show you how pretty our office is. And I hope that you'll all stop in and see it. And I invite any questions.
Thank you, Emma, for such a wonderful presentation. Council, comments, questions? Oh, Councillor Harlan, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor Akji and Council. I am a tremendous supporter of this service. I have seen the benefits with our aging population again and again, but I see the tremendous work of the staff of the Seniors Resource Centre. And there's a couple of things I think just need repeating or highlighting. Number one is that Charlotte County Seniors Resource is the only nursing home without walls that takes in such a large area. So we started out small and then continued to expand. And it really is looked to as a model within the province. I mean, that's why Emma has been identified as a pod coach, because the fact that we are servicing 3 islands and 3 distinct geographical areas is because other nursing homes are not able at this time to provide their own nursing home without walls. So the Charlotte County Seniors Resource has just continued to expand as they can to provide the need. And I think that is tremendous on the staff of the Resource Centre under Emma's leadership, which is tremendous. And the other thing is, I just have to highlight, over $1 million. So the Charlotte County Seniors Resource Centre has been able to put over $1 million in the hands of seniors with grants and subsidies that many of them would not have been aware of. It's because the service has said, do you realize that you're eligible? Can I help you apply for this? That we have been successful in accessing that amount of money. And that is a tremendous win. And I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Harland, and thank you for your work on it as well. Anyone else? And thank you, Emma, for all the work that you do. We do appreciate it.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks very much for coming out tonight, too. All right. Find my sheet. Oops. There it is. All right. And our second presentation is Vince Ippolito. Fitness Center.
Yes.
So please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, Your Worship, Deputy Mayor Neal, members of council, CHOH, and dear neighbors online. My name is Vince Ippolito from St. Andrews, and I'm the spokesperson for Gail Collier and Merv Hasselpacher, who cannot make it this evening. But before we get started, I really want to thank you Your Worship and Deputy Mayor Neal and members of council for all your hard work and your commitment to keeping our community beautiful, safe and sound in a world that is under chaos. So thank you so much. We're really blessed to have you. Over the past year, collectively through a small group of volunteers that have been working on the idea of a fitness center, we've collected a lot of information, knocked on a lot of doors, and really made ground. As you can see in front of you, the presentation is full of information. So with that, I don't want to overload you with information. We really want to cover the big nuggets to make sure that the key takeaways are really absorbed and that this proposal makes sense for our community and for our neighbors at large. So in respect of time, I know we only have 10 minutes. I won't go into finite details, but we'll cover as much as we possibly can to ensure that you're informed based on what we've collected and what we're proposing today. Next slide, please. So this will be our roadmap, which is going to cover our problem statement on why we're here today, the community benefits from a central fitness center in town, and our target community and the information that we've collected throughout the year. And also, you can't be successful without having a solid blueprint to ensure that you have an operational program that can instill this non-for-profit fitness center in our town. And then we'll cover some next steps. So as you know, there's no fitness center in town of St. Andrews. There is a hotel fitness center that, based on support of their clients, the Algonquin has made some policy changes that limits the use of the fitness center in their facility, all in support of their clients. So throughout the winter months is the only time that the locals could work out. In the summer months, the gym would close from long periods of time. There are facilities in St. Stephen and St. George that is a driving commitment to get to these locations. Some are privately owned, which are a little bit more expensive. Others are relatively affordable. But again, the drive is maybe a deterrent for some of our community members. We really wanted to focus on developing an inspired central environment where people of all ages, of all fitness levels would come into this environment and be able to do their cardio fitness, their weightlifting, their group classes, their spin classes, their stretching for seniors, Emma, which is key, right? And just bring a central area where all the fitness components are done in one spot and not all over where we're at today. So that is one of the problem statements that we've been working on. And so I'm happy to say that we're gaining some grounds on a physical location, several physical locations, and some other ideas that I will present to you this evening. Next slide, please. So the benefits are certainly incredible when it comes to the importance of fitness. It really brings people together. It really challenges people to come to a group session and really push each other to ensure that they meet all their fitness level commitments. And it brings an inspired environment where people really want to work out and really want to focus on health. And health has a long-term effect on longevity, balance, strength, and really helps the mental spirit when you work out. So the whole concept is to really build an inspirable environment where people would want to come and work out, and not just have a dark area and curtains where it's not really professionally done. And so our plan is to really build this environment that really entices people to come and work out in an environment where their peers are there, their families are there, children are there, seniors are there, at all fitness levels. And I think that's the core concept of our plan. Next slide, please. So why it matters? It's certainly because we really want our community to hound together to ensure that we have an area where people inspire and ensure that people can work out 24 hours a day, managed by volunteers in a neutral area where it's a non-for-profit. And I think that's the key, is to develop an environment where it's non-for-profit. When we crunch the numbers, and I will present to you the revenue stream shortly, the numbers make sense, especially where the areas that we're able to find, and collaboratively working with the two businesses. They were open, they were easy to work with, and I will explain to you very shortly on our ways forward. Next slide, please. So the target community, a nice sized target community. We know we can draw over 150 members. Based on the 150 members, our goal right now is to keep it inexpensive as possible, so to keep it at $50 a month. And certainly, if seniors are on travel for a long period of time, we would certainly suspend the membership to ensure that they're not paying for an empty membership. We would also have the abilities to support the vacationers that come into town, summer students that come into town, businesses who want group memberships for their employees would have the opportunities to work out. So you look at the numbers, and these are way back in 2021, the numbers have certainly got bigger. Through a recent Facebook survey that we did, the responses were incredibly positive. You see in highlights the weights, the cardio equipment, walking track, a pool, and group classes were deemed the highest ranked areas of which local residents were aiming for based on the Facebook survey. So positive results. We know that we can get up a minimum up to 150 based on the results of our survey. And not only that, but as the word gets out, because not everybody's on Facebook, I'm getting bombarded with emails and text messages, which is positive. We're really excited about that and happy about that. And not only that, but we're also collaborating with other subject matter experts in the fitness field. So we're not isolating them. We want to bring them in to the group to ensure that we don't impact their business, that we include their business as part of a service. So again, the one-stop shop is one of our key factors that we're trying to achieve. Next slide, please. So we've got wide range, and I think the core principle of having the fitness center is for all ages, from 14 to 89 plus. So have the various equipment that is conducive to their needs. Have subject matter experts come in, whether it's a kinesiologist or strength coach or nutrition coach, to come in to help support the fitness requirements of our community at large, and not only for a specific segment of our population. We want to maximize the use of the fitness center where retirees, can work out during the day, which would then not impact the limit, the size of what we're trying to offer. And then the younger generation can then work out at evening, which will then stretch the maximization of the space. Next slide, please. So operational plan, I mean, this is still in the works, but I'm really excited to say once we get to the areas in which we're able to make grounds on and actually looking at some agreements, that we were very, very close, pending your support and your approval and your partnership levels. Next slide, please. So again, mission and vision, very simple. Have a motivated environment where people can come and enjoy themselves and be safe, and ensure that their journey of fitness is well supported. And we want to create that type of environment. Next slide, please. So the overview, as I indicated, right now we've got focused on 100% volunteered, 24-hour key access or phone access through training software. Have surrounding residents cost-neutral fees that are pretty set in stone, because based on the survey results, as they wanted a low-cost center in between $50 and $80. And so I think that's the price point that what we can make work based on the numbers that we've crunched. And so what we want to do is really create that environment where all programs can include in one area where poor seniors don't have to go to different areas across the town for their stretch class or weight class or any other type of Tai Chi type activities that they're currently in. Next slide, please. So the revenue stream, and this is an important one, and it's highly deemed on getting grants from all levels of government, from federal, provincial to municipal. The membership fees, as indicated, if we get 150 members at $50, at $7,500 a month, that we can carry over the operational cost of the fitness center. That would include $90,000 a year. There'll be additional revenue streams based on pay-as-you-go, different yearly memberships, including walk-ons. But the highlight is the membership revenue, the government grants, the town of St. Andrews support through grants or loans, business sponsors. All in all, when we did our research, there are lots of grants out there in terms of environmental and infrastructure upgrades based on the new provincial federal government. And so this would certainly be an environment invested where it would make sense for the community to support. And then, of course, you've got the low-hanging fruits on, different revenues from different classes. Teams from hockey to basketball would come in with their teams, and they would run fitness classes, HIIT classes for those groups at additional cost. And then you've got donations from contractors or services. It's funny, you walk around town and then they approach me and says, well, I'll paint the building for free. I will build your toilets for zero service rendered. So there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of people who want to help out, which is a really good problem to have. Next slide, please. So this, as indicated, they get 100% managed by volunteers. There'd be a board of directors from managing various components of the business plan, whether from marketing, development, to right down to equipment director, sponsorship, and director at large, through a board chair that would report to town council and providing monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annual statements. We would take on all the responsibility in terms of resolving issues, and if we couldn't resolve issues, that we'd hire a higher board, and then we would come to council for support. Depending on the grant, there is an opportunity to hire, a full-time employee just to manage a day-to-day, just from a service perspective, a maintenance perspective, and to ensure that the memberships are well supported when they go through the equipment, for a safety perspective as well. Next slide, please. So this is a high-level financial. I've got great news this evening. The one company that we've been working with is NBCC, and they have been absolutely fantastic to work with. John Williams has gone on beyond the call of duty to support this facility for the town. So there's a building D on campus that's a standalone building. It's 2,000 square feet. It is empty right now, and we are negotiating an agreement in terms of line items on what will it take for us to be able to put a gym in that facility. The numbers came in yesterday, and it's $1,000 year one for rent, which I firstly looked at the ongoing rent rate around the community, and I had it down to $4,000. So that's reduced to $1,000 year one. Year two would be $2,000, and year three would be $2,500, which is in line with our revenue stream on type of money. Typically, it is $25 a square foot for a gym, not including gym equipment or facilities such as bathrooms, washrooms, and other low-hanging fruit type of costing. So in a nutshell, expenses would be $300,000 one-time cost to get the flooring, to get the bathrooms, to get the showers, to get the fitness center ready for equipment arrival. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir?
Sorry, Council, as per our procedure policy, we've actually extended to 10 minutes, by 2 or 3 minutes already. So we need 2/3 agreement of council to allow him to continue, because he's still got quite a few slides left. Probably be another 10 minutes or so. So your worship should just get an agreement from council to continue.
Council, what is your preference? Yes, yes, yes. Please continue.
So I'm sorry about that. I try to speak as fast as I possibly can. There is a lot of content, and I don't want to over-inform you, but this is important information. So in terms of securing options, there's multiple options to secure the equipment. You can, direct purchase at a cost of $100,000 upfront. There's several companies out of Moncton, St. John, and Fredericton that I've contacted that they're willing to support our business plan, and they have the equipment on order. We could also lease the equipment for $3,000 a month with a two-year maintenance requirement. So you'd have to purchase a 2-year maintenance requirement, and the maintenance would be $1,000 a month. Or you would get a bank loan for $50,000, get a grant for the other $50,000, and your monthly rent monthly would be $50K loan, $1,200 a month. And then there's investor loan at 72 return on investment would be $1,388 a month. And so these are various options that we could use based on the limitation of grants not coming in line with our timeline. Next slide, please. So our timeline, real quick, I know this is high level, but it's 3-phased approach. Secure a lease agreement with a business, finalize the construction cost, apply for grants, establish an executive board, seek council support, identify the equipment supplier and lock the equipment supplier, and start a community engagement. That's from 0 to 3 months. The following phase 2 is really hone down on the funding, get the construction going, apply for nonprofit status, get your legal, get your insurance ironed out, get your investor and partners gathered, and start really the development in phase 2, which is 6 to 12 months. So all in all, a 1-year project. I know it's aggressive, and that would be highly dependent on council support and partnership. Next slide, please. So this is the exciting part right here. So when I approached several councillors last year, they loved the idea. They're in support of the idea. However, they said, do you have a physical location? And so over the past year, we've been knocking on a lot of doors and talked to a lot of people. And these are the areas that I've deemed positive. So if we start at the top at MBCC, so this would be, a short-term strategy, 0 to 2 years, where council can then look at building new or renovating to an existing property to ensure you meet 100% of the community needs when it comes to wellness and fitness. So this is a time that it is affordable. NBCC is willing to lease our space for 3 years. There is free parking. There's 24-hour access. There's security cameras. There's already an existing building that would require very little to transform it into a fitness center. There's the building does not have bathrooms on location, but you could negotiate using the college, which is right across the street, the parking lot, for minimal time until we build bathrooms, showers, and change rooms at a cost of $100,000 to $150,000. So these are types of line items that we like to start honing down in with the NBCC. They have come to us with a solid agreement that we're very happy with, and so we just wanted to present that to you. The threat is NBCC, if there is a new boat building opportunity program that they have to offer to their students, then we have to move out. Based on what we hear from NBCC, the 3 years is internally managed, and they see plenty of opportunity for us to extend that into the another 2-3 years to 6 years. So that does give council and the community a time frame to really look at whether you build new or existing communities. Another key partner that's been excellent to work with as well is the Algonquin. So the Algonquin, if you remember where the old gym used to be in the Algonquin in the basement, well, I approached the general manager, and Ray Roberge was excellent to work with. Very informative, very open, but he estimates $300K to renovate the basement before we even put a piece of equipment in. So in terms of the balanced approach, MBCC, there's no bathrooms, so we'd have to build the bathrooms. The Algonquin has all the facilities available to us, but it would require at least $300K to renovate it for our own use, and then we'd have a long-term agreement that we would negotiate. There's another opportunity, which is an existing building that Paul Logan has listed, which is 430 89 Route 127 property. It is a property that is ready for a fitness center because it's got a cement floor, but it doesn't have any bathrooms. So we would have to purchase the building at $250,000 plus, put in the renos and build bathrooms for about $300K. So again, that's money. The dream option is, the town council builds, a brand new facility that meets 100% of the community fitness requirements for all ages. But again, that's very costly and lengthy in time. The second best preferred medium option for us would be have the town renovate an existing building that they manage, that they own, that would have all the elements required to ensure that it meets the fitness requirements of the town. Next slide, please. So the fitness center management, so there's a couple of components that we could do. We could, on the left, 100% volunteered environment, which the board of directors will report to council and do 100% of the management of the fitness center. Anything from the maintenance, the cleaning, the supplies, the insurance, the website, we would manage the entire business. The lower left, which again is short-term and medium-term, 0 to 2 years, is to do 50-50 with the town. So partner with the town to take advantage of the subject matter expert and the resources that the town have, right? So we would divide and conquer the task, and that we would move forward working together to ensure that we've got a solid plan. The long-term, 2 years plus, would be 100% managed by the town, its own facilities, whether it's new or renovated, and the other option is hire full-time subject matter experts in the fitness community with staff to support a new facility that'd be managed 100% by the town and not by any of the volunteer communities. Next slide, please. Some of the risks on the positive side, so you've got the probability on the x-axis and the impact on the y-axis. So if you take a look at the impact, slow membership, very low, because we're confident that we can get the members to meet our financial requirements. Support from volunteers, again, a very low a low probability because we can get a lot of support from volunteers. And sourcing the equipment is a no-brainer. Many companies that have reached out and that are in line willing to be a partner. One of the key ones is the financial. Like finance right now is keeping me up at night. Getting the right grants applied in time for the 2026 launch keeps me up at night. Council support is very, very important. We can't move forward without council support or partnership or even funding, right? So there's a step approach to where we want to go. It has different ways that we can get to the AB vector. We just need to figure out what the best approach is by working together. And not fully in the community. So Are we going to have a pool? I'll say up front, we're not going to have a pool in the 0 to 2 years, right? And so that, again, it's going to have a negative impact. Are we going to have a walking track? Probably not, because it's 2,000 square feet. Once you build the bathrooms and once you build the change rooms, then it really removes the footprint. It reduces the footprint, and so it makes the gym a little bit smaller, right? But group classes, spin classes, yoga classes, centralized fitness center, all the equipment that you want, state-of-the-art equipment, we will certainly have to offer. Next slide, please. So really looking for your consent, looking for your support, looking for your partnership opportunities. We really want to work really close with MBCC because they did put the carrot on the stick and they're hanging the stick and we're chasing it. And so we really want to do our due diligence. We did come up with a list of things that we want from them, and then they may want to come with a list of things that they want from us. Certainly from phase 1, step 1, are we going to, spend $100,000 on bathrooms? Well, that we need to look at that, the pros and cons of that. Whether we use their facilities and whether they allow us to use the facilities during school time, because I know it won't be open 24 hours, right? Really want to start establishing a board of directors. There's been a lot of community neighbors that have approached me that want to be part of the board of directors, so we need to start filling those positions. We need to apply for a non-for-profit status, which is $200. And so again, we need to sort of start building some funding to start getting that status with CRA. And then you have the bank accounts, insurance, and so there's a lot of work, but we've got a lot of dedicated, hardworking, competent volunteers who want to get this done. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, I think, certainly we want to build an environment where it's very motivated. People are develop friendship in that motivation. If we build an MBCC, we certainly want to incorporate the students and the faculties integrated into the community. Not only that it integrates them in the community, but it also, with that network of knowledge that the students and faculties will have, it just brings them greater value for the future in terms of job opportunities. And so we really want to build that environment as quickly as possible. Next slide, please. And I think that is it. So I want to thank you for your time, and I really apologize for going way over my allotted 10 minutes. I know you're really, really busy.
Well, thank you very much. And council, questions or comments? Mr. Gumashell?
Thank you, Worship. Thank you, Vince, for your enthusiastic presentation. It was you spoke so quickly, it was tiring just listening. As you know, like this space and the whole question of a gym for St. Andrews has been on the docket in various forms for a number of years. We did try to turn this space into a gym, and it didn't quite work out. And myself and others really, and you, think that a gym is a key component of the town. So aside from your presentation, just on a personal note, I mean, I see you out walking, I see you playing hockey, you have lots of fitness opportunities. Why is a gym so important as a recent retiree? How key is that to your overall health? Could you comment on that for council?
Absolutely. I am a strong gym member. I love going to the gym. It makes me feel good, both mentally and physically. I love doing my weights. I love doing my cardio. I love the social aspect as well. It really brings me and inspires me to keep going back. And the outcome is you feel good, you look good, and mentally you're really cleared, especially in the wintertime. Like in the wintertime, I do get, some disorder when it comes to lack of vitamin D. And so the fitness center, and I am a member of 2 gyms, a member of the Algonquin and a member in St. Stephen. So when I play hockey in St. Stephen, I go to the gym right after. When I play hockey in St. Andrews, I go to the gym right before or after. And so it's a very important part of my life. but also the volunteers that want this, the same principle. They really want an environment where they can work out and be physically fit and physically healthy.
So thank you. So thank you. It'd be safe to say then that a gym is kind of a key amenity for not just for a community, but for a community trying to attract retirees and be a robust and vibrant community. A gym is really a key thing. It's not just for some of us crazy people. It's
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And just for example,
Thank you very much.
And I hate to bring it up, but we are off to Mexico for a month in February for the sun. First thing I did is I looked up closest gym, and I've already have my membership for February on 5th Avenue in Playa del Carmen, already booked. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gumshoe and Councillor Weir.
Yes, I listened with great interest. I think it's a be-all, end-all for everybody for their fitness. Quite frankly, I have serious doubts about that. I don't think seniors want to be in there with my son, who happens to be ranked in the world in powerlifting.
Impressive.
But and I also coached hockey and baseball for 15 years. Dry land training is not accepted at this point in time. May never be, maybe at the professional level, but not at baseball's no longer a sport in New Brunswick in most communities. I love it, but most kids can't throw a baseball now. So I think there's a lot of things there that you've got to step back and say, will this really work? Does a senior want to go in where there's a young bunch of 20-year-olds showing off their strength and all this type of thing? They just don't want to be in there. Right. And I played basketball until I had a heart attack and I had to quit. So, I believe in fitness, but a facility to solve everything, I think, would be practically impossible to accomplish. Just my personal view.
Thank you, Councillor Weir. Councillor Harland.
Thank you, Mayor Akachi, and thank you, Vince, for a very enthusiastic presentation. I appreciate that. I guess I have a bit of a different perspective. I believe that this community has shown opportunities for intergenerational activities. I think about what what Mervyn has and his staff have been able to do in terms of accessing the youth center for services, given that we have a lack of it. I think about the curling club and the fact that they're continuing to create opportunities for intergenerational activity. I think it's a phenomenal concept. I also believe that wellness is directly, given that that's my background, I believe that wellness is directly impacted by our ability to have multitude of opportunities for physical activity. So I think it's a great concept, and I agree that this town has, we are sorely missing a facility that can bring folks together. To have access to those services. The only question I have is around the 3-year lease with NBCC. And I will go back and review again the financial statements that you've provided. I know that it would be the quickest opportunity, but it seems like a big investment for only 3 years. So do you have any comments around that? Can you help me with?
I do. We can take it offline, but the 3-year is for a reason, is to keep it within a level of management. If it goes to another layer of management, then there are more scrutiny on that decision-making.
Oh, for NBCC.
Right.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harland. Councillor Heenan?
Your Worship, Council. Vince, when I moved here 8 years ago, it was the one thing it was lacking, and I am not one of those gym rats, so I'm going to tell you that up front. But I kind of always wanted somewhere to go. So the concept of a gym becoming a part of the community, I believe is essential. However, here's my however. You say finance keeping you up at night, worrying about it. NBC canceling the lease at any time worries me, because I have been around the educational field for a lot of years, and I know that this can happen. And if they decide they want something else, or they need it for something else, right now they're in a money crunch, and they need money. But if there's another program or something that all of a sudden Building D becomes whatever, then I worry about that. That's number one. The other thing is, in your fitness center management, in the circle, it relatively falls to the town. Like I see over here, it says, volunteers to report to the town manager. Well, these are additional responsibilities that have to be taken into tasking as far as what the town would do. It can't be assumed, in my opinion, that the town is going to manage this. I really find the idea of putting it here, that managed and operated by the town of St. Andrews, is a big burden on the shoulders of the town, and especially if things go wrong. And I mean, we have a town manager, we certainly do, and a very good town manager, but I don't know if he's into gym management. And I just think that that's a huge task to undertake for the town. So those are my, but the big one for me, I'm sorry to say, is the NBC canceling the lease. I would stay up at night on that one.
Thank you.
Thank you
for that. Thank you. There's been a lot of discussion, because that was also a high risk. The way we position it is that they have plenty of room. So, I don't want to say too publicly, but there's in a confident conversation that I had with John Williams, so there's plenty of room, and so he doesn't deem that to be an issue. We've also addressed to him saying that 3 years is not enough. He says we can extend that based on the environment, whether it's working, whether people find it safe, whether you've got enough members to cover rent and cover equipment costs. So he is really working on mitigation strategies that would prevent being a high risk. It's still a risk, but it then deems it a lower risk based on mitigation strategies.
Thank you. And thank you, Councillor Heenan. Mr. Spear?
Hey, Vince, thanks so much. Sorry, Flo. So I guess a couple of quick questions. So the 2,000 square feet, is that on one level or two levels?
One level.
One level. So this room here is probably, if you take out the washrooms there, it's probably 1,600 or 1,700 square feet. And one of the big complaints we had when people were looking at this, when we put RFPs, wasn't enough room to do both classes and a proper gym. So I question that, and you don't have to answer that, but it would probably it would help, I should say, if you actually gave a physical floor plan. I know it's conceptual, but it's something we can see. The other thing is, I'll advise that I think your refurbishment is a little light. That I can, it's known the town redid our washrooms in early 2025. We spent over $120,000, and our own crew did most of the work, except for some plumbing. So I'd be worried that 150 could turn into 300 overnight type of thing, that you might want to, get a better handle on that, and I could be wrong. Or maybe you've got volunteers who are carpenters willing to go in and all that, and that
Right.
changes the water on the beams so it goes. But I'm just a little concerned that you're a little light there from our recent experience.
Right, thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. Anyone else? If not, I thank you very much for coming out and giving us a
Thank you.
nice presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good evening.
You too. And we'll continue on, council. So we're going to the approval of the minutes of previous meetings. So the first one is the minutes of the 25/12/15 regular council meeting on Monday, December the 15th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. And the recommended motion is that the minutes of the 25/12/15 regular council meeting on Monday, December the 15th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. be adopted. Mover? Deputy Mayor Neil? And seconder, Councillor Harland? Any discussion, council? All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. And the second one is the minutes of the 26/01/12 special council meeting on Monday, January the 12th, 2026 at 6 p.m. And the recommended motion is that the minutes of this 26/01/12 special council meeting on Monday, January the 12th, 2026 at 6 p.m. be adopted. I need a mover. Councillor Heenan, seconder. Councillor Bennett. Thank you. Any further discussion, comments, errors or omissions? Okay, here's the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. So those are done. Communications? Mr. Spear, no communications? Excuse me. And the staff reports, Mr. Spear?
Thank you, Council, and I emailed you an updated, more grammatically correct paper on Saturday. When I read through mine, I was like, whoops, I stopped halfway through my thought process in some of these sentences. But we forgot to photocopy them for you, so I'm going to read it off my phone as best I can. Sure. Well, probably not for that. That's okay.
No, they won't see it. You can just read it off the screen here.
Okay.
instead of
Oh,
answering.
there, yeah.
Figure that'd be easier for you.
Okay, I'll give a start. Once you got it called up, let me know. Council, Happy New Year to the Deputy Mayor, Council, residents, all those who came to visit our area, whether for a few days or several months. We have gotten through the Christmas holidays and are back to work. You are at the tail end of your term, which ends in mid-May before the next municipal election. This will limit the number of initiatives you take on. Once again, I am presenting you the initiatives and updates of the town of St. Andrews. Council, as you finish out the last few months of the council's term, you had a discussion on what remaining items you want to take on as you're down to 8 or 9 regular meetings. The planning documents, which is the municipal zone or municipal plan and zoning bylaw, which you've been working on for close to 2 years, are still a priority, as well as ensuring the wharf structural integrity is maintained and closing out a few other initiatives. This past Wednesday, we had our first zoning bylaw consultation with about 40 people attending, including staff and council. There was insightful engagement with some concern about specific elements of the proposed bylaw and whether council had time to complete it by May. However, many liked the overall layout and it just needed to be tweaked. Additionally, consultation meetings take place tomorrow night via Zoom, while the last one is this Thursday night at Bayside Hall. Both meetings take place at 6. And for the virtual meeting, come to the town's website to sign up for that one. You'll get a link. Tonight, council wishes to review the tourism accommodation bylaw for any changes that may be implemented for the 2026 season. It has been on council's radar for most of 2025, and staff have brought it forward for input on any suggestions you may have on amendments. If you feel amendments are required, then we will draft an amendment for your consideration over the next meeting or two. Staff are preparing to go on first reading of the municipal plan in the hearing of objections over the next few weeks. The clerk has prepared a communication policy and a separate incoming communications procedures policy that establishes standards and guidelines for the flow and storage of correspondence within the local government. Administratively, while we enjoyed the holidays, Public Works were called out a few times, even on Christmas Day. Although there is not any major storm events, the mixed slush and freezing still requires a lot of road salt to keep driving conditions safe. The good news is that it is not as labor intensive as a large snowfall, so labor costs are down comparatively. This past Friday, Andrew Lord finished his service with the town and moved on to another position locally. We thank him for his 4 years and wish him success at his new endeavor. In discussion with council, they are now recruiting for a professional accountant who would focus on other services like economic development and project cash management. Staff and Councillor Neal met with Fundy Engineering last week to discuss how the inspection went and next steps. There are some urgent issues to be addressed, but they don't feel that there's anything to shut down the wharf this year. Returning the wharf to its original load capacity would potentially require the original wooden structure being replaced. They are going in to prepare an executive summary for council approval within the next 2 weeks, with a final report and presentation, and a public presentation that is tentatively proposed for February 26. The Wellness Center renovations had been delayed, waiting for the engineered drawing, which we hoped we did not need, but we ended up needing them. They should be available this week, as the building inspector has been able to review the draft drawings and issue the building permit later this week. And from what I understand, there's going to be some initial work done later this week, in fact, so they're starting. In addition to storms mentioned earlier, Public Works was busy restoring the Christmas decorations after weather events. They also took time to do renovations at the youth center to improve the storage capabilities of the facilities. Recreation staff are appreciative that council has allowed those ongoing renovations. We received the new tandem plow truck in November, but ran into some issues which required it to be brought back to the supplier. But since it has returned and is working as expected. During this month, Passamaquoddy Recognition Group's hybrid vessel caught fire while tied to the wharf. As always, the St. Andrews Fire Department was quick to the scene with 3 trucks deployed and fully staffed. Through their efforts, there is no fire damage to the wharf. However, the incident was challenging as battery-powered engines are unique on the plan of attack, and despite the efforts of the firefighters, the vessel still sunk as the batteries themselves could burn for days. Thankfully, damage to other property was minimal and everyone involved were safe. Coincidentally, Chief Terrio was in Ottawa at the same time representing the firefighters of New Brunswick in conversations with federally elected officials. He reports a great series of meetings as they move for a series of initiatives that coordinate disaster events interprovincially much better. The staff at the Ross Memorial Library certainly got in the festive spirit in December with several activities celebrating the season. It included festive wreaths made with recycled materials, decorating a room at the Ross Museum for the open house, and decorated gingerbread people. They also had a games cafe that brought together teens and adults for board game competition. In conclusion, despite the winter blaws setting in, there are still activities being put on by the Recreation Department, and the Winter Warmer Festival starts on January 29th. We also have the Recreation Master Plan being presented as well as moving the municipal plan and zoning bylaws forward. There is still lots of opportunity for engagement. Respectfully submitted, Chris Spear, Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. So we need to accept all of the reports, staff reports. So could I have a mover? Councillor Bennett, and a seconder. Councillor Heenan. Any further comments or questions? So all those in favor of accepting the staff reports, say aye. Aye. Contrary minded? And carried. Oops, sorry. All right. So now we're into introductions and consideration of the passing of bylaws and motions. So the Finance and Administration Committee, Councillor Heenan.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council, audience, Mr. Spear, Mac. My first one tonight is FA 260124. First reading of the municipal plan for the town of St. Andrews bylaw, MP 25-01.
Councillor Heenan. Oh. Never mind, that's the name, right? But
Yeah.
it's, yeah, never mind, keep going.
Okay.
Sorry.
The Town of St. Andrews Council and Council and planners have been working on a new municipal plan as required by the province as a result of amalgamating Bayside and Shamcook through local government's reform. The town completed public presentations with changes incorporated in the latest draft received from the planners on December the 1st, 2025. The Planning Advisory Committee reviewed and discussed the municipal plan at a meeting on Wednesday, November the 17th at 2025. A letter with their views is attached. Section 24.4.4 of Bylaw 23-06 Procedural Bylaw advises a public hearing of objections to occur prior to the first reading of and proposed updates, changes, or amendments for the municipal plan and zoning bylaw. Staff recommends a setting of a date for public hearing of objections with the recommendations for Wednesday, February the 11th, 2026 at 6 p.m. at the W.C. O'Neill Arena Council Chambers. The action is motion 1, that the council that council schedule a public hearing of objections for proposed bylaw MP 25-01, the municipal plan for the town of St. Andrews on Wednesday, February the 11th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the W.C. O'Neill Arena Council Chambers. And I so move this, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Seconder? Deputy Mayor Neal. Any further discussion or comments, Council? Mr. Spear?
Yeah, we have Mr. Henderson on the line right now
Okay.
concerning, there are some amendments which we were going to look at, and I'm just wondering if council would like to entertain those now. Then if you accept his proposals, that we could potentially update the municipal plan before first reading. They're deemed them as minor amendments, but you may want to let him talk on them, then we could put something together.
Okay, what are your wishes, Council? Yes? Well, let's hear him. Welcome, Mr. Henderson.
Hi there.
I didn't warn him either, so you're welcome, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
All good. Yeah, thank you, Your Worship and Council. So as was discussed, the PAC has reviewed this municipal plan draft, and they've recommended 2 minor changes to the draft. One would be to add a policy that says council will strive to ensure the provision of municipal services and programs that are inclusive and equitable. So that would go into the provision of municipal services and facility section. The next one would be a minor amendment to the way a policy around food security is worded, and to recognize the role of homesteading in St. Andrews. So it would be worded as this: Council shall prioritize and work with partners, including relevant government and non-government organizations, to increase local resource security, including access to fresh food by encouraging production of local resources, including food, and innovative, sustainable, environmentally conscious resource development, including agriculture, practices. So that would be the two amendments that are proposed by the PAC.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Comments, council?
Do we need to, point of order, do we need to make these acceptable? Do we need to have a motion for that?
Mr. Spear, is a motion required? I thought these are amendments.
Maybe just a directive, because we're just amending a draft document still. But Alex, should we talk about, because you also had the breakdown of those pages of other recommendations. Did you want to go through those, or is that too long of a meeting?
Yeah, there are other changes in the past. I think those were included perhaps in the report. There's some discussion on different items that were recommended through different departments. So these would be, there's some things that are like grammatical. I didn't want to get into some of those pieces. I think they're just kind of like maybe to clarify the existing text. So there's a
Maybe discuss there was a discussion around homesteading and the proper terminology that the province wanted. Maybe touch on that.
Yeah, so there's small scale and low intensity agriculture that's referenced in the plan. So you could use the term hobby farm and agricultural operation to distinguish between low intensity intensive agriculture. So some of those types of changes could be done if council saw the need for it. Should we just be like updating some of that language to reflect what Department of Agriculture would request? There's a minor change here regarding Department of Transportation that says, just to clarify that we don't do curbs and sidewalks. And so just clarifying some of that language that where council would encourage Department of Transportation to do active transportation or include it, just to make sure that council's working with Department of Transportation to include that, because they don't provide it themselves. They would look for a partner in council. So that's a clarification piece. Another one was Minister's Island, to make sure that there is language there to reference provincial acts. So some very minor pieces referenced. Another one was just a duplication of a section in the transportation section. So yeah, you can see this in the report that Xander provided. It's very, very basic, but the two ones I wanted to highlight were the new policies there. So if there's anything specific about that council doesn't want to include, we can, you could take that out. But if council wanted to do a motion tonight with these proposed minor amendments, I think that could work for a first reading.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Henderson. Councillor Weir.
Yes, I just have one comment. You mentioned the word hobby farm. The term hobby farm has a substantial amount of legal interpretation, case law, and I don't know whether it's not in the same context, but at the same time, there's probably hundreds of cases in the tax court of Canada on hobby farms and what constitutes a hobby farm versus a full-fledged farm. And I just wouldn't want us to use some terminology that had a legal meaning elsewhere within the laws of Canada or within the court cases that have been held on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Weir. Councillor Bennett?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to see these new recommendations for changes written down, and I'd also like to see a definition of the term hobby farm. I'd like to see all that before we agree to put it into policy. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Henderson, do you have any response?
Yeah, so if council's not comfortable with proceeding with this just verbal update, totally understandable. So what you could do, you could still send this to the public hearing of objections, and because these were all deemed to be minor changes, they're not changes in direction of the plan, it's more clarification, and even the new policies are sort of clarifying the direction of the municipal plan already. They could be done even after a public hearing of objections. And the public hearing objections could have other minor proposed changes from members of the public. So what we could do is we could sit on all this advice from the PAC and these provincial departments, keep it in a tally of different proposed minor amendments, and give council a text of the document with all the proposed minor amendments included, including the ones that may emerge out of the public at the public hearing objections, if that sounds good.
Council? I'm getting a lot of head nods, so the answer is yes. They would prefer that. So we would not go on with this motion. We would wait until we get the
No.
amendment.
We continue
can.
on it. But Alex, maybe just when you do the updated, maybe do the, whatever it's called, but you know what I mean, the review feature that you can use that shows the strikeout, the changes?
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, if council makes the motion as it's worded in your agenda tonight, it wouldn't include any of these revisions. So it's the document that has been presented previously.
So just so you know, Alex, the only motion we would have tonight is the public hearing of objections due to a piece of the procedural bylaw that we were reminded of over the weekend. So we wouldn't be going to first reading tonight anyway, if that's the motion you're looking at. Does that make sense? That's the only motion that count, because of our procedural bylaw says we have to have for Community Planning Act amendments or replacements for bylaws, municipal plan zoning bylaw. The procedural bylaw requires that we have a public hearing of objections before we can even have the first reading. So we're tied into that first.
So what we're recommending here is the public hearing of objections tonight. Is that clear, Council? Council? It's there. It's February the 11th at 6 p.m. in the motion. Is that clear, Council? All right, ready for the question? All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. Okay, Councillor Heenan, motion 2.
Thank you, Worship. Just making sure I'm on the right page. 132, yes. Thank you, Worship. The next one is FA 260126. First reading bylaw 23-06-A, amendment to 23-06 procedural bylaw. In August of 2025, Council started to review the staff-led meeting following concerns raised by a resident regarding the closed nature of the meetings. Staff have researched requirements in the Local Governments Act and the models of municipalities regarding a similar meeting style. Bylaw 23-06, the procedural bylaw for council, contains a small section regarding staff meetings. An amendment to this section has been prepared by staff to provide more detail for the meeting's purpose, format, and procedures. This amendment provides the following: regularly scheduled meetings, informal nature, clear purpose, staff-led rules of order allow for the chair other than the mayor for the meeting of the whole body where business is not decided, a basic agenda, open session except for items allowed in closed section according to section 61(1) of the Local Governance Act. Minutes to be taken. The motion is that the council give leave for the first reading of bylaw 23-06A, amendment to 23-06 procedural bylaw. I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Seconder, Councillor Hartland. Further discussion, council? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, abstained is Councillor Weir. Nay, contrary minded is Councillor Blanchard and Councillor Gomichelle, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know about Councilor Blanchard.
Yes, he voted.
Councillor Blanchard, just to confirm, you had voted to the nay?
Yes, that's
Yep.
what he said.
Okay.
And Councillor Weir abstained. So now that is 3.
Your worship, can I speak for a moment?
Okay.
The reason I abstained was, you know, I read this for the first time over the weekend, and I realize it's first reading, but I'm always more comfortable if I get a document, have a discussion on it, and not, you know, get a document, immediately start rushing through it, making first reading on it. And I realize we can amend it afterwards and everything, but it's almost become a habit, this council, of first thing is first reading, and we're still mulling over how we're going to deal with certain things. That's why I abstained. Maybe I should have voted nay. I don't know, but just uncomfortable with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Weir. Mr. Spear?
Yeah, just to clarify though, Councillor, we've been talking about this for a few months now. I know we haven't prepared a draft document that you can put the meat and potato, or, you know, put eyes on paper and have a discussion, but really very similar to our current bylaw, except expanding what the staff-led meetings is and putting rules and procedures more in line with our current rules of operation for council.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Spear. So, we now have a vote of 4-3, correct? Or no, 5-2? 4-2. I'll get it right. It's that 4-2, council. I was right, 5-2. Woo. Okay, 5-2. Okay. So that's carried. All right. Thank you, Councillor Heenan. So those two are done. Your next one?
Thank you, Your Worship. The next one is FA 260127, Policy P-26-01, Communications Policy. The Town of St. Andrews is committed to consistent, clear, effective, timely, and transparent communication. Effective communications are critical to the town's work and contribute directly to the trust of the citizens in the local government. Policy P-26-01, Communication Policy, has been drafted to guide open, honest, and effective communication with residents, stakeholders, council, and employees. A correspondence management procedure document is attached, which the policy refers to in handling of correspondence between the public and town hall and council. This procedure is outlined separately to allow editing and adoption in this timely fashion as best practices evolve and technology allows for change. This procedure focuses on tracking, noting, and archiving correspondence. And the action, Your Worship, is that the Council of the Town of St. Andrews approve the adoption of policy P26-01, communication policy. I so move.
Seconder? Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Harland. Discussion? Question. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Councillor Weir. So that's 6-1. It's carried. All right. Councillor Heenan, you continue on. Thank you.
Yes, Your Worship, there's no report number on this one. Mac, is there a report number?
There is. It is FA.
Would you read it for me, please?
Yep. Report number FA260128.
Thank you, Mac. Policy P26-02, Advisory Committees Policy Update. In discussion regarding the possible institution of a new wharf advisory committee, staff and council reviewed the application of policy 17-01 regarding advisory committees. To provide the opportunity for council to participate in an advisory committee, a change to policy is required. Policy P26-02 is an update advisory committee with the following changes. Removal of current Section 1, authority as it is based in the Old Municipalities Act, and there is no section in the Local Governments Act, and renumbering of the sections following. Changes to paragraph 6.4 to 6.6 of Section 6. Allowance for a member of council to serve on an advisory committee when it's deemed appropriately by the majority of council. Separation of statement regarding municipal staff to its own paragraph. Renumbering of the following paragraph. Addition to revision history section advising replacement of previous version of the policy. A draft copy of the policy is included with changes highlighted. And the motion is that the council approve the adoption of policy 26-02, advisory committees in replacement of policy P17-01. I so move, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Seconder? Councillor Deputy Mayor Neal. Any further discussion? Question. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Contrary minded, Councillor Blanchard? Or was that a delay? Okay, so there's no contrary minded. It's carried. Motion carried. All right, and Councillor Heenan?
Hold on. All right.
One more to go.
The-
Oh, excuse me.
Did we just pass a policy which is in draft form? The draft copy of the policy is included, and then we adopted the policy.
Well, it wouldn't be a policy till we passed it.
The change is highlighted.
Councillor Weir didn't have his microphone on, sorry. I
Councillor
couldn't hear
Weir.
online what was said.
I'm sorry, Mark. I asked the question that we just passed a policy, and the last line of the policy is, or the motion is, a draft copy of the policy is included, with changes highlighted. So we're changing a policy to a draft policy. When's it going to become final policy? Or I just don't follow.
Technically, the policy is, every policy is a draft until it's accepted, but
I realize that.
the highlighted changes would take effect, so anything that's crossed out would be removed. Anything else that's highlighted that's new would take its place. But I understand what you're saying.
I think the question is, have we just approved a new policy, or did we approve the changes to an existing policy?
We did change the number of the policy, and part of that new policy is to repeal the previous policy.
Right.
So you just accepted the policy, amended the policy.
So we amended it.
So it's no longer draft.
No, so we take the word draft
Accepted
out.
amendments to a policy, yeah.
Now it's not a draft.
Well,
And
now,
that
now
was-
you're opening a different can of worms. Either we can leave the motion as it is, where we've made the changes, so the final document that will be signed will not have crossed out highlighted sections, as the draft shows before you. That the purpose of the highlighted marked draft is to show what was original versus what is changing.
Right.
If we're just amending the policy, then we are not repealing 1701. We are amending 1701. Well, but if we're just accepting all of the changes as a full new policy, then we are renaming it to 2602. So it's either a new policy and these are the differences, or does council want to make amendments to the existing policy?
So do we-
Or you can table this if you just want us to bring it back. If you accept the amendments as is, we can clean up, do all the strikeouts, accept everything as presented, and clean up, take out the word draft and re-accept it. But this is our normal course of business,
is what-
typically,
What we've done.
for a policy which is read once, or not read, but is only by motion once as opposed to 3 readings. But we're open to
we have
council's
that?
direction. It's whatever council wants to do. We're okay.
So, council?
I'm fine either way, but I recognize that, again, if some councilors are not comfortable with that, I'm also fine with just accepting the changes and having a final document presented to us.
So this will come up at a later date again, next week.
Next meeting, February 2nd.
Okay,
I can present the final document for your review, yeah.
without the crossed-out sections and no draft.
But before you vote, you should just table this till next meeting.
Okay. so
Because
we
the
need to
motion
ta-
stands right now, we just accept it as is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to table this for it to come out next week. So Councillor Bennett, seconder. Councillor Heenan to table. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Oh, Councillor Reminder? Carried. All right. So we'll get this next week, or February 2nd. All right.
And I will take that as a lesson for future edits.
Yes. Thank you, Mac. 45, 49. And Councillor Heenan, your last one, 149.
Thank you, Your Worship, and this is it, yes. FA 260125, full-time staff additions, CFO/treasurer and janitor. The background is, earlier this month, we learned that the assistant treasurer has taken on a new role and has departed. In discussions with council at a staff-led meeting on January the 12th of this year, council agreed to elevate the position to treasurer and add additional duties. We were also notified earlier this month that our current janitorial service provider will be unable to continue past early March. After reviewing the costs associated with the contract services and our growing needs, it was determined that hiring a position full-time made both logistic and economic sense. As these are new full-time positions, council needs to approve the competition. The motion is as follows, that the Council of St. Andrews moves that the CAO be authorized to recruit for full-time treasurer and janitor positions. Your Worship, I so move this.
Seconder. Councillor Gumashell. Further discussion, council? Mr. Spear?
speaking more than I should maybe, but
All right.
I know there's discussion on some additional duties under the treasurer's role, which we did add. I just want to make sure it kind of meets with council's approval,
Okay.
which is on page 153. Some of them crossed over to CAO duties, which is the reason I vote for a treasurer.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that you're okay with the job description as presented. The treasurer position had already been in our inventory of positions, but those are new duties under the community development subheading.
Okay. Council, Councilor Harland?
So when we had this discussion previously, I think I was the one, I was one of the councillors that raised a concern around this potentially being two very different skill sets. So, because we're looking for hopefully a chartered accountant, correct?
Well, CPA.
Sorry,
Yes,
CPA.
no, yes, CA.
And that they may not have the skills required for the community development, economic development piece, because that, in my head, is a bit of a different skill set. They may, I guess it depends on their level of training. I just worry that what comes first?
So the way we have it, that I listed it, was as the collaboration with the CAO, because some of those duties fall under the CAO's bylaw too. But if we get the right person, the financial, at least in my mind, it's the financial component as treasurer, or the responsibilities of treasurer.
Correct.
And if we get the right person who's able to do economic development well, we can, during the recruitment, both will be looked at. But it just leaves it open. I didn't want to close the door that if we didn't get applicants who couldn't fill the position of economic development officer, that we would have to restart the process. So in a small municipality, we juggle different roles and stuff, and so if someone has strengths in certain areas, they can be given more duties as capable. Economic development officers, CPAs can be economic development officers, but economic development officers don't have to be CPAs.
Correct.
So I'm not entirely sure who will apply and see what their mindset is. But when I asked for this position to be elevated, created, whatever word you want to use, it was for the financial accounting side that I was to be
Right.
able to free me up a little more,
Right.
to focus on long-term initiatives and long-term planning. And economic development, which I will say openly is not one of my biggest strengths, but it is under the CAO bylaw. But if we had the right person that had lots of experience, then certainly that could be incorporated.
But our priority is to get the financial first.
Well,
then the
that's my
economic.
priority. It's council to tell me different.
Okay.
But I think we can work through it all.
I think we were looking for financial first, with the hopes of getting an economical.
Yeah, I mean, a
Economic.
little bit goes back. We don't even know what the duties and responsibilities in economic development is in St.
Yes.
Andrews yet. We've kind of danced around it for a little while, for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And it'd be good, and maybe this person can help with that, or we go to a consultant who helps do that, and then we know where the time and effort should be spent. Some of them, too, was like the economic development Councillor Weird talked about last week about housing and stuff like that, which isn't economic development. I'm doing some of that myself currently as we move along that process. So economic development is a big word. It could mean a million things.
Right.
And so it's to try to figure out the priorities of the community and the councils are. But
And-
a financial accountant is where I'm really looking for, and if they happen to come with economic development, hallelujah.
Right, but economic development really can be a very specific skill set. And it doesn't, I just want to be clear that this doesn't hem us in. We still can have further discussions, or the next council can have further discussions around what is the need, and what do we want as a council, as a municipality, around economic development, right?
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
because it's thrown in there, put in there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. At the end of the day, too, we usually have an ad hoc committee of council that is part of the recruiting process. So at the end of the day, council will have a member that gets to assist and determine the needs of the town of St. Andrews in the position and the quality of the candidates and their skill set to fill it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. Councillor Weir.
Just to expand on what the CAO just spoke on, we'll get the right individual. It's going to take a tremendous amount of workload. I shouldn't say workload off of him, but it will expand what he's capable of doing as far as at budget time, all of these schedules, all that type of thing. And we all know an economic development officer in town here who has done it 15, 20 years that I just bypass. There's no skills. But work for every government agency there is, I think. But it's but if you look at the Local Governance Act and its definition of economic development, it's anything that increases the tax base of the municipality. That's what the act actually says, is economic development. So, pretty broad term.
Thank you, Councillor Weir. Councillor Heenan.
Yes, Your Worship. Just to piggyback on to Councillor Weir's, I believe the two positions dovetail together with the finance, of course, being the first and foremost. That's what we're hiring for. But if it comes to grant writing, et cetera, that can be done by this person or this individual that brings tax dollars to town, i.e. a new apartment building or whatever you have, that to me is economic development, but also is part of the financial web. So I somehow see the two dovetailing. There's no question in my mind that the financial part is first and foremost. But if it happens to shine onto economic development and grant writing in looking for different aspects of money for the town, then that's part of economic development strategy, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Any further discussion? Okay, question. All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Heenan. So Public Works and Safety, there is none. Economic, Business and Culture Committee. I don't have a name for that. 154. Chris? Who? Chris, oh yes, Chris Mack. You did.
Rookie mistake.
Okay. Well, that's what happens when you put your name on a document.
That's right.
So this is in regards to the tourism accommodation levy and a discussion for amendments based on our staff-led meeting last week. Consensus of council requested bylaw 23-01, tourism accommodation levy, be open for review and discussion of amendments. A copy of the current bylaw was attached for council's reference. Staff is asking council to detail any desired changes to the bylaw so staff can consolidate them, work on amendments. Staff will prepare drafts of text amendments for each section or paragraph to be considered and debated. Council can then openly discuss the section as a group and settle on new text to be brought forward for adoption. I guess I would add on there that if we end up having a whole slew of amendments, then we would just propose a new bylaw to replace 2301.
Okay.
Instead of having 10, 15 text amendments, or even 5. It is important to note that amending or replacing the bylaw will require 3 readings over at least 2 meetings of council. Opening amendments to a public hearing objections is optional, as a tourism accommodation levy does not fall under a provincial act requiring a public hearing.
Thank you, Mac. Council? Sorry?
I'll read through it and pass on any text amendments. Thank you.
Councillor Blanchard, was that your hand, or you were just flailing?
No, that was my hand, and then I grabbed my laptop screen and
Okay.
focused it down on my chest and everything else. But just to say, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be at the staff-led meeting last week when this was discussed. But just a heads up, not expect any text amendments from me. I'm happy with the bylaw as it is, and I'm happy with the work that Explore St. Andrews has been doing and the presentation that they provided with their plan for the next several years. So I'm happy to continue on as we are now. So I won't be providing anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blanchard. Anyone else? So, Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Your Worship. I've stated several times now in council here, talking about the dollar amounts that the town gets, the 1/3 of the TAL money, and about all the wonderful things that have been accomplished in our tenure through that TAL money being spent by us. And for example, the bathrooms that were renovated in Town Hall this past summer. You know, for a relatively small amount of money, we got a tremendous resource back in the town, the bathrooms that we're not ashamed of, bathrooms that are beautiful and easier to clean, and certainly a focal point for many people that come to visit in our beautiful town here, or even the citizens like myself that's from out of town, and when I need to use the washroom, guess where I have to go? So I see how that TAL money being spent by town as being very advantageous to the entire town and to our visitors. So I'd like to see an amendment to the percentages of a 50-50 split, 50% go to the town and 50% go to Explore St. Andrews. And that would just allow us a little more money to do more things within the town for visitors and citizens alike. Thank you.
Okay, 50-50, Councillor Bennett. Anyone else? Councillor Gomichel.
Thank you, Your Worship. We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. They're just asking for us to submit our suggestions, but I would agree with what Councillor Bennett has said. In order to increase capacity in our community for tourism, we have to increase our capacity with infrastructure, including bathrooms, benches, trees, parks, all those sorts of things, amenities that our visitors need and also that our townspeople can enjoy. And I'm not certainly not taking away from the hard work that Explore St. Andrews has done and all of the planning and all the hard work and sweat that they put in, but the 1/3, 2/3 isn't sitting well with me. I think it's a 50-50 split partnership, and I wouldn't have brought it up. If Councillor Bennett hadn't, I would have submitted it for debate further. So I know we're not debating, but if we're putting our cards on the table, those are my cards as well. I think it should be a 50-50 split since we are in partnership with them, and we're both a community that is a place where people live and also a place where people visit. So increased capacity means increasing infrastructure as you discussed. I won't go on any more about.
Okay, so
those are my cards.
Okay, thank you.
My opinion. Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Weir.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with the split. But my concern is Explore St. Andrews has set their budget for the year and what impact this would have on them and whether we should phase it in over a couple of years or 3 years or whatever. You know, to treat them totally fair and just not suddenly adjust their funding on them. I think we have to be fair with them. They are doing an acceptable job, and that's just my thoughts on it.
Councillor Harland?
So just to clarify, we're not debating?
No.
We're supposed to submit?
Submit to staff?
Actually, we're hoping there'd be a little bit of a debate, at least to make sure everyone's on the same page here, because we don't want to go through a lot of work of making amendments
So
As
we have-
opposed, like, there's, at least on the split, I
Yeah.
think we're comfortable that there's enough interest that we can go, that should be
So
put
we
on the
have
table.
Yeah, so we have two for 50-50. We have Councillor Blanchard to remain the same, Councillor Weir to remain the same, Councillor Harland,
I'm not prepared to make a change.
okay?
In the split. At
Okay.
this point, I think Explore St. Andrews has presented a budget, and they're working with that budget, and they have been showing some great outcomes. So I'm not prepared to request a change in the levy at this time.
Thank you. Councillor Heenan?
I totally agree with Councillor Harland and Councillor Weir that their budget is set, and this is not the year for us to change it. If it's going to be changed, it should be brought forth in the new council, and then it be debated then. Right now, I feel it needs to stay as it is for this year. And somewhere in the record book, we can put that it's going to be looked at next year, and let the council of the day make that decision, because we've already heard from Explore St. Andrews that they've done everything we've asked them to do with reports and budgeting, et cetera. So I think that it's a little late in the game to change. Thanks.
Thank you, and Deputy Mayor Neal.
I would agree. I'm not comfortable making that change right now. I would rather wait. And again, they have a budget set they've presented to us. Again, they seem to have a very stable board that's very energetic, and I don't think I would want to disrupt that just at this stage. I would rather entertain this later on or let a future council look at it.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Does that give you 5-2?
I think,
Or
well, I think it's
73?
4-3, because Councillor Weir's support of the change just phased in as opposed to,
But he said no changes this year.
Yes,
Is that right?
my thought on it was, let's put it in place, that we put the, and again, CAO can come back to us with a recommendation of whether we do it over 2 or 3 years. But rather than dump it on the next council, let's deal with it, and there's no reason we can't put a schedule in there that, you know, this is what we're going to do over the next whatever number of years we agree on to reach something, whether it's 50-50 or 45-55 or whatever, but to increase the town's portion of the levy. Thank you.
Okay, so
I
there's
think it's
4-3.
Yeah, it's close enough, council. I mean, I think we have to do at least the amendment, and then council can then defeat the official written amendment or accept it in a future meeting, which
Okay, but for,
probably be a text
Just-
amendment, yep.
just for my clarification, we're not changing anything this year because
No,
they've already submitted their budget and whatnot. Correct?
well, that
We
depends.
haven't
Council
debated
wants it.
that
We haven't made that
Debated that
decision yet.
yet.
Councillor Weir's,
Okay.
it's a good recommendation, but Councillor Weir's the only one that brought it forward. Councillor Gumashall and Councillor Bennett both thought it'd be effective immediately.
Yeah.
I will say, council, just FYI, that, like, Explore St. Andrews gets the funding from the collections of the prior year, so it wouldn't affect this year's budget anyway. So the money collected in 2026 will be used in the 2027 budget.
Okay.
It's just the way we work on that, just so
Okay.
so you're clear.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. Any other comments? So there's no vote, but you've got your clarity?
Yes, yes, it looks like it's that count, there's going to be.
4-3.
But maybe be prepared to vote next week.
Okay. So, council, you heard that. All right, so that finishes that one up. All right. There's no recreation and environment, no planning and committee development. Planning and Community Development Committee. So that brings us to the end of the consideration and passing of bylaws and motions. So we are now in new business, which we don't have anything. So we're at question period. Mac, do you have anybody online or anybody in that would like a question?
You have a hand coming up from Lisa Chasky.
Okay. Sokasky.
Sakaski, sorry.
Okay, Lee, your question?
Lee, you're on mute. Oh, there you go.
You're on mute, I think. Yeah. Your question pertaining to tonight's agenda, Lee? Or Ms. Sukowski? Sorry.
No, she's not muted. It doesn't show that you're muted. Are you sure your microphone's working?
Technology's wonderful when it works. Okay, well, I'll ask the people that are in our audience, do you have any questions for tonight's agenda? Sorry? Sorry. Can't do anything about that. Can't do mine, so. All right, so there's nothing here, but we're waiting for Ms. Sokowski's. Ms. Sokowski. Did she write anything down?
Ms. Sikorsky, maybe we'll go to the comments, see if you can, at our end, you look ready to go, but it looks like you self-muted. So if you can get your stuff figured out, we'll check in with you.
Okay, so the next thing is Councillor and Deputy Mayor's comments. Anybody? Councillor Heenan.
Your Worship and Council, I'd just like to say again a big thank you to Mr. Andrew Lord for all the work and dedication he's done for us at this council table. I wish him the very best in his future endeavors. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Councillor Harland.
Thank you, Mayor Akji and Council. I just want to acknowledge that the St. Andrews Wellness Committee last week organized a 2-day suicide assist training workshop through a generous grant from the Fundy Community Foundation and in partnership with Department of Education and the municipality. We had 23 people that were trained through this ASSIST program. And ASSIST is a world-leading suicide intervention skills training program that really empowers communities to be able to talk about and address suicide prevention. So a phenomenal opportunity for this community. We hope that we might be able to put another training on because unfortunately, like everything, we only had so many seats and it has generated more interest in this training. I do want to give a special shout out to Katie Stevens and Heather Whitaker. They are two counselors from Department of Education who are ASSIST trainers. They came down from St. John to facilitate the training, and they were fantastic. And I also want to thank the St. Andrews Curling Club, who made their facilities available to us, and they were lovely. It was just a perfect setting for a pretty intense subject for the training. So it was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Harland. Anyone else? Then it's mayor comments. And all I have to say is the food bank. I know you guys are getting tired of hearing me, but the bags were gone when and I took a lot over, but they really need support. And I know our community and Charlotte County has helped out greatly. The fire departments, everybody, CHCO-TV, every town, every church, I'm sure a lot has gone in there. I took over the bags and they were just so happy to see me. I think they're calling me the bag lady. But I did take over quite a few, and they can still use them. So if you could drop them off at the town hall, I will make sure they are delivered. So, yeah, really rough time they're having, but they're managing. So thank you very much.
Deputy Mayor?
Yes?
I do have a couple of comments from Ms. Sikorsky.
Okay.
First comment was that the last public notice on the municipal plan was last summer, and many people are not aware of the changes. Has asked, could the public notice about the hearing of objections make it clear what text people are to comment on? And the answer to that is any of it. Would you circulate a public notice to the municipality and not just post on the web so more people are aware of it?
Okay,
Sure, we do post. We do have
We
an
do
outside
post.
posting outside of town hall
Yeah.
where we always post our public notices.
She means
But to
Canada
put it through
Post.
Canada Post, we can certainly do that as well.
Yeah, thank you. That will be done, Ms. Sokaski. Sorry about the technology trouble. All right, so that being that, we are now going into closed session, I believe. At 8:35, the number is, Mac?
It's on your agenda.
Is it on my agenda? Oh, there it is, okay. Council moved into closed session per the Local Governance Act, Section 68(1), bracket F, information concerning legal opinions or advice provided to the local government by its solicitor or privileged communications between solicitor and client in a manner of local government business. So it's a legal concern. I need a mover. Councillor Heenan, seconder. Councillor Gumashal. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried. Thank you, CHCO, for carrying this. Thank you, Flo, for helping out in the background. You do a wonderful job. So we'll take a few minutes and break while they get their equipment shut down. And we have to keep our microphones on for Councillor Blanchard, please.